Hi folks, not sure who heard of this stuff before or not, but it's called Seafoam. It's good for just about every engine you can think of, from a car to a tractor to a chainsaw to a motorcycle to a transport to a lawnmower to a boat. I mean, you name it, snowmobile. It's good for so many motors, it's not even funny. What I particularly use it for is my oil. You can use it for your gas tank, you can actually dump it down a carburetor, but what I particularly use it for is my oil. And I want to talk to you today about oil. So especially on a high mileage vehicle where the motor may have some buildup of sludge and carbon and whatever else may be built up within the crankcase and the cylinder walls and that type of thing. Well, this stuff here works wonders. And how I do it, you're going to notice if you get a can, there's not a whole lot of instructions on it. You can do some research, find out how to use it. So I guess it's use at your own risk type thing. But what I do is I use half the can and I pour it in my crankcase. So I'm basically adding it to my oil. And then what I do after that is I drive about 120 kilometers and then I do an oil change. Then I put the new oil in it, and let me tell you, if you have a high mileage vehicle and you don't accelerate it very often, like let the passing gear kick in and let the RPMs rev up, and you more or less just drive it a slow acceleration, and you're just going down the road at a normal speed and you never really give that engine a working, well, that's when you start running into all these buildups. So I mean, if you're goosing your car and you're traveling down a highway fast, which you're not supposed to, by the way, but some people do. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're really working your engine, well, this stuff you're probably not going to find a whole lot of results, because when you really work that engine, well, that working of the engine kind of keeps it clean. But when you don't really work that engine, it don't really get clean. It has a chance to build up with carbon and whatnot. So that's where this comes in really handy. And I use half of a can. I pour it in the oil. I drive the vehicle for roughly 125 kilometers. Now, I don't just pour it in there and take a trip. I let the trips take themselves until I build up roughly 125 kilometers. Then I change the oil. And the oil, you can obviously see this stuff's working. You can see all the buildup is removing. And then I give it a fresh pour of oil. I change the filter at the same time. The oil filter, you want to change the filter at the same time too. So you're going to have to pick yourself up a couple extra filters and some extra oil. So now the filter's been changed, and the old oil along with half of this tin's been drained out. Then you put the new oil in there. You put the new filter on your vehicle or on the motor. Depending on what motor, it may not even have a filter. But if it's a vehicle and it does have a filter, so you put your new filter up, you got your new oil in there, then you take the rest of the can and you dump it in. And then you do the same process, 125 kilometers approximately, 100 kilometers, 130 kilometers, don't have to be exact. And then you give it another oil change, another filter change, and you're good to go. It really helps the improvements. Does a lot of little tricks within that engine that otherwise it wouldn't do that just with the motor oil in it. Seafoam, folks. Seafoam. It's pretty good stuff. It's been around a long time. They don't seem to advertise it all that much. So you pretty much have to go into the auto store or any place that sell this type of stuff would usually have Seafoam. I don't suppose every place will. But I know most of your auto plate stores, they have this Seafoam. It's really good stuff. I swear by it. And I'm always going to use it as long as they sell it. This can here on sale, it was just a little under $10. So you have to pick up some extra filters and some oil. So, time it's all said and done, you're looking at about a $50 job if you do it yourself. If you bring it in and have a shop do it, obviously it's going to cost you more. But I do things myself. As you can read the description about my channel. My videos are about things I do for myself. So this is just a tip about Seafoam that I wanted to tell everybody. And if no one's ever heard of it, they may want to try it, especially if their vehicle is a high mileage vehicle. Their motor has high mileage. Lawnmower, be the same principle, but you're not going to use half the can, obviously, because the lawnmower doesn't hold very much oil. So you're going to judge it accordingly. For a lawnmower, I'd probably put maybe an inch of the can in there, from the bottom an inch up, and I would run the lawnmower. I'd cut my grass, you know, that type of thing, and then I would change the oil and change the filter if it had one. If it didn't have a filter, well, I wouldn't worry about it. Then I would change just the oil, put the new oil in there, and I would do it again. 2 times is all I would do it. So whatever has a crankcase to it, they add oil to, this is the stuff you can use. You can also put it right in your gas tank, clean your injection system, carbureted system. It's good for, it's a multi-purpose stuff. You can use it for many, many things. As far as motors go, gas goes, I use it pretty much just for oil. I've never explored with the gas part of it. I use different things for the gas tank to clean the injectors out in the fuel system. Anyhow, folks, Seafoam, thank you for watching, and subscribe if you have not, and thank you for those that have. Greatly appreciate it.